the Mortality Mindset Podcast with Patrick Mathieu, designed to help you live a life of radical resilience at home, at work, everywhere.
Hey, welcome to the Mortality Mindset Podcast. My name is Patrick Mathieu, and I've got a big question for you. The big question. Why are you here? And, I don't mean here listening to the podcast. I'm glad you're here. I don't really care why you're here. I'm glad you're here. No, what I'm asking with this question is, why are you here, like, in life, on earth? What are you here for? And, some people, when I ask them this, they think I'm asking, what is the meaning of life? And maybe that's what I'm asking. If that's how you're taking it, then sure, go ahead and answer it that way. But really, I don't know that there is a meaning of life. I think it's the meaning that we give to our lives, to each of us. It's a unique thing for each of us. What is the meaning that we're bringing to our lives? So it's more along those lines. Like, what are you here? Why are you here? And if you know, because there's probably a few of you who can answer that question. You have an answer at the tip of your tongue. You're like, oh, I know why I'm here. I am here, and you have an answer. And if that's you, then that's fantastic. Drop me a note in the comments. I would love to hear what your answer is. Why are you here? But if you're like a lot of people, you don't know why you're here, or you have like 900 answers to that question, right? And it's about trying to figure it out, and it depends, Well, if you ask me on a Monday, I'm here just to, try to, get through the day. If you ask me on a Friday, I'm here, for something totally different. Or if you ask me when I'm with my kids, you're going to get a different answer than when I'm with my friends, or when I'm, at work, or those kinds of things. So does any of that sound familiar to you? Because I know a lot of the people that I've worked with over the years, they fall into those kind of areas of having a different answer depending on the situation. But let me rephrase it. Let me refine the question a little bit. What are you here to experience? Let's think about it that way. Because I think what's really, really critical in life is the experience of life, the experience of being alive, the experience of living. And I think that's what we're here for, is to experience something, to experience stuff, to experience emotions, to experience things. And the answers to like what is stuff and what are the emotions and what are we looking to experience, that's going to differ, that's going to differ for each of us. And that can shift and that can change over time. But I think it's really useful to start with that concept of what is it that you want to experience. And let me, because I don't think any of us is here to achieve goals. Now, I'm a certified coach. I've been coaching people since 2008. I do life coaching. I do business coaching. I run classes. I give workshops. I'm all about productivity. I'm all about goals. I'm all about helping people achieve things and accountability that comes along with that. So, when I say that I don't think we're here to achieve goals, what I mean is that's not the objective. The goals are important. We absolutely need goals. We absolutely need, a sense of what we're aiming for and what we're shooting for, and what we want to accomplish. But I think there's a big difference, and I think a lot of people get tangled up in this. And reflect on this for yourself and see if you identify with this push-pull between wanting to accomplish something and wanting to experience something. I'll say it again. There's a difference between wanting to accomplish something and wanting to experience something. So, Wanting to accomplish something, that's having a checklist. So you can cross things off and you can say, yes, that's done. Wanting to experience something, that doesn't necessarily have an end point. It doesn't, it's not necessarily something you can either achieve or not achieve. And that's one of the real, that kind of binary thing of you've achieved it or you didn't achieve it. That's where people can get really tangled up if they think that they're here on earth and in this life to achieve things. Because that can leave you feeling like you're not achieving, like you're not succeeding, like you're not a success. Or, dare I say it, that you're a failure or that you're failing. And that's not a fun place to be. And the problem, one of the massive problems, when we start to think of ourselves as failing or being a failure, man, that's a really slippery slope, right? It's hard to come back from that. It's hard to recover because we're already setting ourselves up as someone who's already, behind, who's already losing, who's already not ahead of the curve, who's already not in first place. Like it gets to be like you're running a race. There's a reason they call it the rat race, right? That we feel like we're running this race. And if you've set yourself up with goals and these are my goals and these are what I want to achieve, and you're using that to define your life and you're using that to define who you are at your core, that's dangerous. So instead, I want you to think about what you're here to experience first. Then you can put goals in place. But first, think about what you're here to experience. And, I just keep saying that. I keep saying that over and over again, but it's not really making it any more clear, is it? So let me make it more clear for you right now. Let me give you an analogy. So let's think about amusement parks. Okay. And, if you like amusement parks, then this will be easy for you. If you don't like amusement parks, play along. It's not really about the amusement park, but you'll see where I'm going with this. So, if you go to an amusement park, why? Why are you going to the amusement park? What do you expect to achieve? Well, that's a ridiculous question. Nobody expects to achieve anything. Nobody has a list of goals for the amusement park. Nobody has a list of, accomplishments. It's not going to an amusement park is not a to-do list kind of thing. That's not how that operates. Going to an amusement park is about experience, right? We're going there to experience fun. We're going there to experience thrills. We're going there to experience excitement. We're going there to experience, fill in the blank. And I asked some friends this. I just did, a completely unscientific poll, but I asked some friends this. I said, do you like amusement parks? And they said yes. All of them said yes. And I said, okay, why do you go? What do you want to get out of it? And, it was really, actually, you know what? I'm going to pull up the answers that I got from people because I think it's useful to use their exact words. So one person said, let me find it here. Sorry, I should have had this up sooner. They love seeing a lot of people and having fun. They like to get their adrenaline pumping and know that they're safe at the same time. So it's that kind of tension between very exciting, your adrenaline's going, but you're safe. They like to challenge their fears in a controlled environment, like the fear of heights. And they expect to experience fun and the thrill. Okay? So that's what they're expecting to experience. That's not a checklist. That's not, that doesn't come across like a thing you can fail at, right? The other answers I got, let me just see here. I'll pull up one more. I don't want to go too long here, but I'll pull up one more on this. So this person says they go for the roller coasters. They only go to ride the roller coasters. They love to go fast. They like a thrill to remind them that they're alive. So again, that's not a something you can fail at. That's not a yes, no. It's not a binary thing. That's an experience. They go to experience the thrill of being alive. Like, I mean, how much more pure can you get than that? That's what they're going for. They also said a rush of adrenaline. So why is it that that's what they come up with? Because if you've been to an amusement park and if you like roller coasters, you know that most of your time is spent standing in line, right? No adrenaline there. Like, you stand in line for what, a half an hour or more, depending on the size of the park and how many people are there. You can wait an awfully long time just for a ride that lasts what, a minute, 2 minutes? And so you get that like 1 minute or 2 minute hit of adrenaline and that rush and that thrill, and you forget about the hour that it took you to wait in line to get there. And I think that's the real difference when it comes to living your life for experiences versus living your life for goals. Does that make sense? Because if you're going to the amusement park to experience the thrill of going fast and the adrenaline and testing your fears in a safe environment and feeling alive, then it doesn't matter if you have to wait. Then it doesn't matter if, the food is overpriced, and it doesn't matter if there's a crush of people. It all just contributes to that experience. But if you're going to achieve a specific thing, if you're going to, increase your quarterly revenue, well, that's something you either do or you don't do. If you're trying to remember to put your cover sheets on your TPS reports, again, that's something you either do or you don't do. And, I'm using ridiculously mundane examples here, but this is the difference between a goal and again, I'm not slagging goals. I think goals are important, and I'll come back to that a little bit more later. But I think what we want to work at when it comes to designing our lives, and it comes to the mortality mindset especially, we need to approach our lives with a sense of the experiences that we're looking for. So think about the experiences that you want out of life. And, there could be, there's a million ways to get there. And this is why I put together the What Matters Most course, because that whole course is designed to help you figure out what experiences you want out of life. It's an online program. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. But it's an online program where I take you through a process and a number of different activities and exercises, and you're writing things down, and you're reflecting, and it's fairly involved. And at the end of it, you come out with a ranking, a set of experiences that you can use as a guide, that you can use like a compass for your life, right? And it's something that you can use to figure out if you're moving in the right direction or not. So if you're waiting in line at the roller coaster and it's taking too long, and you look over and there's another roller coaster over there that has almost no lineup, well, of course you're going to jump over to that other one. Does that mean you failed at this one? No. Does that mean that the time you spent waiting here is wasted? And no, what you focus on is, oh my God, I want to go fast. Look at that. That lineup is much smaller. I'll be able to go fast much more quickly if I hop over there. And maybe by the time I'm done with that one, this lineup will be smaller, right? And that's the thing, in an amusement park, if you're there to experience the thrills and you're there to experience the speed and feeling alive, then you're not going to get bogged down on all of the little things, and you're not going, it's not a linear process. I mean, I think there's very few people who get really, really tied down to how they must experience an amusement park. I know lots of people have tricks like, oh, of course I always go to this one and this one and this one first, because at the earlier part of the day, everybody's got their own, strategies for maximizing their fun and maximizing their time at the amusement park. But nobody gets super hung up on that, because if you find that, oh, look, usually this ride is really busy, but right now there's nobody at it, of course you're going to go over there and jump on that line. Right? Because it's available to you, because it's an experience you can have right now. And you're not stuck on some sort of linear structure for how that day should unfold. So it really makes a big difference if you let go of the how to amusement park. We're not trying to figure out how to amusement park. We're trying to figure out why and what is it that you're there for? And it's not to complete things in a specific order. It's to experience things. It's to experience emotions. It's there to experience the excitement, the thrill, all those things. Now, there's another variable out that I want to introduce to this amusement park idea. And, the podcast is called The Mortality Mindset. So where I'm going to go with this. Let's look at the mortality aspect of life. So if I say to you, like I said at the beginning, why are you here? What are you here for? Your answer will change depending on how long you think you have left, right? So if you're, in your 20s and you're thinking you've got years and years and years ahead of you, you might have one answer for what you're here for and what you want to experience. If I said to you right now, what do you want to experience? Your answer at 21 is probably going to be different than your answer at 81. Is that fair? I think most people would agree with me on that. The trick is, the challenge, I guess, is, do you bet on getting to 81? Are you holding back things that you need to experience, that you really, really want to experience, and you're thinking, I'll have time for those later? Because if you are, that's dangerous, because you might not get there. If you just kind of were dropped into an amusement park and you had no real concept of the time, and you didn't know when it was closing, and it might be closing hours and hours from now, or it might be closing in 10 minutes, you don't know. I think your strategy for enjoying that experience, for experiencing that amusement park, are going to be incredibly different. Is that fair? I mean, think about that for a second. If you knew that you had time for one more ride, which ride are you going to hop on? I'm not trying to be super precise about this, but let's just say you knew you could do one more ride. Are you going to go for a ride that has the shortest line and hope that you can get on it twice? Or are you going to go for your favorite ride, like the one you absolutely love, and hope that you are able to at least get on it once? I want you to think about your life in that same way. And that's what the mortality mindset is all about. And that's what the What Matters Most course is all about, is helping you figure out, without knowing how long we have, it helps you prioritize how you want to spend the time that you do have. And the idea is, if you're experiencing what you want to experience right now and today, then if you get to experience more, if you get to 81, that's all bonus. right? If you don't get to 81, if it ends much sooner than that, you're not going to have the regrets that you might have if you were living as though you had until 81 or 101. Let's just say 101. And this for me is really personal. This is not just a thought exercise, because if you don't know this, like, this is why I talk about the mortality mindset. I was born with multiple congenital heart defects and was told all my life growing up that, if they were to build a heart the way mine is built, it would never run. And so, doctors for years would say, I don't know how you're sitting here in front of me. It's amazing. Just keep doing what you're doing. And that was amazing. That was wonderful to hear growing up, because I had no, I wasn't limited. I didn't, you would beat me in a race. If we were going to run somewhere, you're going to beat me, because I didn't have the cardio for that. But it didn't impact my life. I had no hospitals, no surgery, no surgeries, no medications. I had a great, wonderful, charmed life. And then I turned 18 and I met a cardiologist who decided to tell me when I was going to die. And at the age of 18, he said, we hope you live to be 30. Like 30 at 18. And, it took me 6 years to figure out, what in the name of God do I do with this information? Like, how do I live knowing that I'm past middle age at 18? I just been accepted to university. Do I even bother going to university? Why? I'm not going to spend all this time and money studying for a career I'm never going to have. And I had these two, reactions. One was really strong and emotional, as, you can probably expect. And that one was like, it's not fair. This is not fair. 30's too young. But there was this other reaction that caught me by surprise. It was like coolly detached and logical, but it was another voice in my head that was still me. And that voice said, 30's too young. How old is old enough? If 30's too young, what if I said 35? Does that feel better? What about 40, 45, 50? Like, you tell me when this starts to feel better. And that question hung me up for 6 years. Like, how do you answer that question? How old is old enough? What is a good age to die? And I couldn't, and at first, when that question first popped into my head, like, what age is a good age to die? When I was 18 and a smartass, I thought 80 is a good age to die, because 80 at 18 seems like, forever away. And the other little voice in my head says, oh, really? 80? Let's go ask a 79-year-old if 80 is a good age to die. And I thought, oh yeah, I see where you're going with that. But it took me 6 years to answer that question. And ultimately what I realized is, it's not about the time you get, because it might not be my heart. I could get hit by a bus. I'm 18. I could get hit by a bus at 19. I could, anything could happen to any of us at any time. That's just life. That's just reality. And the sooner we make peace with that, the sooner we embrace that, the more we can, the more easy it is to get on with experiencing our life, rather than working through a series of checklists, or rather than chasing a series of goals that we might or might not achieve. Right? Because that's what I didn't want to happen. I didn't want to have these goals, because one of my goals was to have a family. I wanted at 18, I'd for years, I'd said, I want to get married. I want to have kids. That was a goal of mine for years and years when I was growing up. And when I was told this at 18, that, you'd be lucky to be around to be 30, that shattered me, because I thought, well, there goes that goal. I can't get married. First of all, who's going to want to get involved with somebody who's a ticking time bomb? Like, nobody's going to want to get involved with me. And secondly, even if I could find somebody who would get involved, how could I do that to them? How could I have kids with them? Like, I'm not going to be around to help them and to see them grow up and to be there for them. Like, That's not fair. It's not fair to the partner. It's not fair to the kids. I felt like my dreams and my goals had been crushed at 18. And so I was being really cautious about setting any other dreams or goals because those might not be achieved. And I didn't want to be on my deathbed thinking, damn it, this isn't the way I wanted things to go. And so when I came to that realization that, you know what, none of us knows how long we get. And it's that mortality mindset. It's that mindset of realizing that it's not guaranteed, that the mindset shift is away from goals first and switches to experiences first, switches to what do I want to be experiencing today and every day. And that can change. I'm not locking you into anything, but what do you want to be experiencing today? What emotional states do you want to be experiencing today? And then tomorrow, and then the next day. And the goals are what can you do to help you feel those things, to help you to, live those experiences that you're looking for. So that was a fairly deep dive, and I warned you off the top. This was a big question, but think about that. And, especially now with this whole COVID-19 pandemic reality that we're living in, it's a trying time for a lot of people. But I think it's also a really useful time to ask ourselves some bigger questions and to maybe shift some of that thinking away from just, goal-oriented stuff and think about focusing more on experiences. Think about, how we want to be doing that. The other thing, I just want to leave you with one final thought about this whole roller coaster idea, an amusement park idea. Often when we think about goals and we think about careers and we think about, checklists, it's so linear, right? We only want the graph to be going up. We only want things to be getting better and better. And when things go down for a little ways, oh God, that feels awful because you're losing. I'm winning. Oh, it turns, oh no, I'm losing. You don't feel that way on a roller coaster. The ups and the downs, that's what makes it fun. The twists and the turns and the loops and the flips and all of that craziness, all of that mayhem is what makes it fun. And to me, that's the real, the joy of living is the experience of all of it, the ups, the downs, the twists, the turns, so that we're not beating ourselves up, so that we're not judging ourselves, and that we're not letting other people judge us. We're just enjoying the hell out of ourselves. So think about that. Think about what you want to experience. And if you need some help, again, check out the course. I'll put the notes I'll put the link in the show notes. And if you already have an answer to the question of what you want to experience, I'd love to hear it. Let me know. Take care.